Well, I'm hoping that this is working, um, being that this is all somewhat new. So hopefully there are people watching, and that would be awesome. Maybe someone could tell me if it's actually working. It would make me feel better, like a little message or something that says, "Yes, we can see you." Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself, which is really awkward and uncomfortable for me. Um, but thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan Russell for the win. He's of course, it's Jonathan because that's who Jonathan is. All right, perfect. All right, so this is kind of a fun thing. I wanted to give a little background on what we're trying to do here. I had the privilege of writing and directing and producing Fragment, the original 3 in lockdown. And the whole idea was to utilize the backdrop of lockdown and COVID and all that horribleness, and kind of communicate what the world might look like if billions of the population went missing. God, in his infinite wisdom, decided to do some stuff with that. And here we are about to release or launch, whatever the better term is, Fragment Oblivion, which is the expansion of that original universe with some new, more awesome characters and some intense action and some much bigger locations, some cold and snowy, some really hot. It was weird. But I wanted to take the time to introduce as many people as I could to the wonderful cast and crew that helped make Fragment Oblivion happen. And so I'm hoping to do several of these as we go through and launch the series on PureFlix sometime mid-March. So PureFlix, we're launching it in mid-March on PureFlix. I hope I said that enough so everybody goes and watches, because that's what's important. So I don't want to. Nobody wants to look at me for very long. So let me actually bring in the person everybody's here to actually talk to and see. Actress Isabel Halmoyan. So here she comes. Hey.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Good. They have a little counter of like how many people are watching and like all the likes. It just jumped. It skyrocketed as soon as you came on, and
Whatever.
so you should feel really,
Thank
really
you.
impressed with yourself, because the world thinks you're impressive too. So,
Oh my gosh, thank you.
how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. I'm glad to be here with you and talk about Fragment. I feel like it's been so long since we filmed, but then like a little part of me feels like I was just there, like too. I don't know. It's like half and half.
Yeah, yeah. I was. We were talking, and my family and I were talking, and I was like, "You realize we did Fragment in May of this year? Like that happened."
Yeah.
It just that was crazy. So
Yeah, it
I
was.
wanted to give the opportunity because I always think it's interesting when people give a little of their background into something. So kind of tell us how you got into the whole acting thing, and who are you deep down? No, you don't have to go too deep,
Who
but
am I? My whole life.
it's not that long. I don't know that people want to listen that long.
I don't want to talk that long. So it's really not even that long. I it was kind of just like a crazy thing. I didn't like grow up in a family of actors. No one really in my family's like in the entertainment industry. But when I was 9, my family and I went to the movie theater and we saw Facing the Giants. We had been seeing the trailer, and we were a big sports family, and we were like, let's go see this movie. Like, it's a Christian movie. It's about sports. Let's go see it. And sitting in that movie theater watching that movie, it was like God just kind of like plopped this dream like into my heart and was like, you know, you could be a part of something like that. Like, I think that that's where you should be. And so ever since then, I was like, I want to be an actress. I want to be in things like that. And just in the entertainment industry as a whole. And so here we are. I kind of had the dream all through middle school, high school, went to college, and then graduated and really started to take it seriously and try to pursue it professionally. And here we are. And so it was kind of a full circle moment being in Fragment with Shannon Fields, who is the lead in Facing the Giants, and kind of like was a part of like me wanting to become an actress. And so getting to be on set with her, working with her, was like something I never even knew I wanted, really, until it happened. But yeah, that's kind of the beginning of it all, how it started. So
And that's how Fragment became your favorite role ever.
ever.
Right? Like that.
Yes.
No offense to all the other multiple things you've been doing. This Fragment will always be your favorite. Right?
Great. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Full
We
circle.
can end the broadcast now. Yay. Okay. All right. Well, and I wanted to also, by the way, just for everybody who's jumping on, we are going to answer your questions. So if you have them, start sending them in. We are going to release and reveal the second official trailer for Fragment the series. And I almost asked you, Isabel, if you wanted to like be hidden while we watch it, or like watch it and we get to see your reaction with it. But that's like a lot of pressure. But I don't know. So you'll have to tell me what you want to do with that.
Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. I'm excited.
Yes. Okay. All right. So let's quickly, so everybody knows, you played Araya Ziskin in Fragment, the first season of Oblivion, and I have to admit, and I'll admit it here because I have to. When I was writing it, I kind of wrote it with you in mind for the role. And what's interesting is it's not like we had a lot of interaction, if any. I think you auditioned for one thing that I've put out there at one point, but there was just something that connected. And so we put a lot of people through the ringer to get to the casting of this. What was the audition process like for you and on your end? Just curious.
Well, thank you, first of all, for saying all that. I remember seeing your casting notice like on Facebook or something, and I remember I thought it looked super cool and interesting, and I texted my agent Jean, and I was like, hey, I just saw this, I'd love to audition. If you could just pop a word in Nathan's ear, or like send him an email or something, if you don't think I'm gonna get an audition, I'd love to get one. And I remember she was kind of like, no, like you're gonna get one. And I was like, oh great, thanks. And so then I got the audition, and I did it, and I loved all the scenes, and I was like, man, this is really cool and different from anything I've done. I would really like to be a part of this. And did the audition, and then we had a callback on Zoom with you and Gigi and Leland, I think. And then we found out. And I remember I was at a friend's house, and it was like 9:00 my time on like a Tuesday or something, like in the middle of the week. And I was like sitting in my friend's room, just talking to her. And then I got the email, and she got to witness kind of that moment with me, and it was really fun. And I was just so excited because it was like a character that I connected with, and that I think our generation is going to connect with. And so I was really excited. So
Yeah, and it was one of my favorite parts of this is doing the casting process. I love and I hate it because there are so many talented people.
yeah.
And so you always feel so bad when somebody doesn't get a role,
Mhm.
and you just wish you could explain to them it has nothing to do with skill or talent. Amazing. But there was a fit, right? And we're blessed to have some very talented people for all of the roles we auditioned.
Yeah.
And I always try in that moment, I just kind of continue to rely on the fact that I pray over all the casting and I just am always like, God, please lead me to your cast. And a few times we've cast and then God's like, yeah, that's not who I wanted, but just wait. And now we've got who I needed you there for now, for this one.
Yeah.
And so that was a really cool process to make it, because we were open. And that's why I had Gigi and Leland as a part of it. It's like, I need additional brains seeing this stuff. And they were great insight. And so I was glad that you auditioned, because I'd have been like, wow, it's time to write a role for somebody else. That's it. And I'm never doing that again.
No, I was in.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And I also use the casting process as a way to bring other people in. I'm like, man, they're so great. I'd like to put them in somewhere. What's a role that I could have them come do? And so it's harder in film, but in a series like this, it just gives me so much freedom to write so much and say, hey, who else can I include in this? Can I write a role for people? And that was a really fun process, because we had cast our leads before I had finished writing all the episodes. And a part of that was because I wanted to know who was going to be playing some of these leads, and then I could start tailoring the story to them a little bit more strengths, and then who else could be invited. And I was talking with Jared O'Flaherty, who does Vindication, and he said, I like writing parts for people I want to work with. I've never been invited to Vindication, so I don't know what that means. But
one day,
yeah.
neither.
Oh, that'll change. As a matter of fact, Jared actually asked a question. Here's his question. I heard that Isabel memorizes the lines of every character in the script. Is that true?
That is not true. That is definitely not true. That'd be cool. But I do not do that. Maybe if I only had like one line, it'd be fun to memorize everybody else's, but in Fragment there was quite a lot, so I couldn't really do that. But
I was actually impressed. I was like, I kept waiting for you to mess up, but you were just like, I tell everybody, I was like, you're like a machine. You know it, you come in and you're ready to go. And so when you do have one of those, like, oh, I'm sorry, let me try that again. There was even a point when we were doing the kind of the video diaries, I was like, yeah, that was really good. And you're like, yeah, I missed a line. I was like, oh, let me look
back.
What did you miss? I didn't even catch it. That's not good for me to admit, but that was the truth. I was like, wow, that was really good. I didn't even know.
Thank you. I'm like, I want to have fun. Like, I know it's all about having fun, but I'm also like, my personality, I'm like, if I'm not being professional, I'm not having fun. Like, if I don't feel prepared, I'm not having fun, And so I try to get to that place of like, okay, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do my job. And if I do my job super well and the best of my ability, then I had a blast, So that's kind of, I don't know if like fun and professional, like some people are like, that contradicts each other. But for me, like they kind of go hand in hand. So
I sure hope it doesn't contradict, because I definitely want to be professional and fun.
Yeah. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah. If we can't joke, then I'm like, well, I don't know how to work in this. It's too much pressure.
Exactly.
Yes, too much pressure. So Benji, our amazing sound tech on Fragment, he said she knew if anyone in a scene got anything wrong, she was very prepared.
Benji would know that because he can hear everything. He probably heard me say, under my breath, like, oh, we missed a line, or oh, I was supposed to walk over there and I didn't. He like heard everything.
Probably, and he recorded it all, and he's like, gonna play it back later.
Yeah. He's great. He's very talented.
Oh, extremely. And we had such a cool crew, right? Between Adam and Benji, and Michael and Kenzie and Jonathan. I mean, we had even all the our PAs like Ellie and my daughter Kayla. I mean, we had people coming to help out. It was wonderful to have them. And
Yeah.
then we became this kind of, I always tell people when we show up to location, we arrive very loud and very big, but we have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I got a question for you.
Okay.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
What was one of your favorite scenes to film?
One of my favorite scenes to film. I think actually the one that like pops into my mind first.
No spoilers, by the way. You can't spoil it. Those
Oh,
no spoilers.
oh gosh.
That changed everything. Now you're like, I like the scene where I did the thing and it was really good.
Okay. It gosh, I don't know how
Now I
to.
ruined it.
Yeah. Man, I mean, there was a lot of like really cool locations. I mean, so any of the scenes that took place, I mean, we filmed in this like cool like cabin like shack almost, like really small. My favorite scene actually takes place in that cabin, if you know what I'm talking about. But
Wait, which
anyway,
one? There were a couple.
the one like that we filmed in the snowstorm.
Right.
There was a
Like
snowstorm.
as you guys were in the little entryway or as you were looking around?
Talking to
Another character.
another character. Yeah. Yeah.
That was a really good scene too.
It's really good scene. Yeah.
I like that scene too.
Yes, yes. But yeah, the locations I think were kind of what made the scenes even cooler. We filmed, you know, in a really cool cave for like 4 days or something, like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
Yeah, we
So
filmed.
cold.
It was cold. That's more like a funny memory I have is like I think by the last day filming in this freezing cold cave, like I remember like the 4 like main cast members, we just got to this point of like we were just delirious. Like we were laughing. Everything was funny. Our lines were funny, even though they weren't. Like our actions were funny, even though they were. Like everything was funny because we were so cold and we were just like, you know, this is wild. But so that's like a funny memory. But I think the locations just made a lot of the scenes super interesting. I loved the scenes with the girls who play my friends.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun. There's like a little party scene, like a bonfire scene, and you know, those are always fun when you're hanging out with like your girlfriends, just talking about life.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that answered the question.
No, it did. It totally did. And then people watch it and come back to this and be like, "Oh, I know what she was talking about."
Yes, you'll have to watch. Why I couldn't really fully say my favorite scene. So
it's a great scene. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All the talent in that scene was amazing. It was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All the talent in that. All right. So tell me about your character. Kind of give an idea to everybody about Araya, how you connected, what you liked, what you didn't like, some of those things.
Yeah. I play Araya Siskind, and Araya is in high school, late high school, and I connected to her because I feel like she represents, I feel like, Christianity today within my generation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I'm really passionate about because I think my generation is a little confused sometimes of what it means to be a follower of Jesus. You know, and it's hard. Like the world that we live in today, it's not easy to be a Christian. But if you're going to claim that and, you know, stamp it on your Instagram bio and like, pray before your meals, and you're going to say, oh, I'm a Christian. Yeah, my family's Christian. If you're going to say that, there's a certain lifestyle that you have to live that is honoring and glorifying to the Lord. And I think girls, I mean, guys and girls, but girls, especially around my age, I think it's just, it's a confusing thing for them. I think it's something that they can just say, and then it's like, oh, I can just live like the world, and God will forgive me, and and it's going to be okay, and there's grace, and there's this, and Araya definitely lives that way. I mean, she grows up in a Christian home, Christian parents, her brother's a Christian, and they live that lifestyle, and she lives a different lifestyle, a lifestyle just like the world, even though she's claiming to be a Christian. And she's a little confused about what it actually means to have a relationship with Jesus. And unfortunately, I think that's where, a lot of people my age fall into that, they fall into that category. And I find myself falling into that category too. And I have to that's when I have to stop and pause and regroup and pray and, read my Bible even more so. And because this world is just wild and the temptation is everywhere, especially in this industry. And so I connected with her. That I was like, wow, this is a girl who I see in real life. Like, she's a fictional character, but I see her in myself sometimes, and I see her in my friends sometimes, and I see her in just girls my age in the world. And it's an issue that we need to address. And I think you did a great job with the writing, showing how she kind of leads this double life a little bit. She can go home to her Christian family and go to church with them, and then she can go to parties with her friends, and she can act a certain way during the week with her friends, and it's completely different. So I really wanted to portray her. I really did. So
well, what did you that's really great, because that was the intention, right? Each one of the main cast members represented different parts of the world and what it would look like for them to be in this result, right? And so your character represents that prosperity believing, or the didn't get the truth, the right gospel kind of thing. And I think you did a great job with the balance of that. And we'd have discussions about that on set. Sometimes it'd be like, I don't think she'd say this, but what about, this, which was really great. So, not to mention you got to beat people up and stuff, which is really fun.
That was fun. That was so fun. That was different. Obviously, something I'd never done before, stunts and tackling people. But it was really cool. It was really, really cool. I have no other words for it other than it was just such a cool experience to train for those scenes. So
I remember you were training with Jonathan, and you posted a video of it, or he did, and you were working on a stunt, and the pads that you were using as a wall fell down on you.
Yes.
As you were training.
Yes, many times. Jonathan and I, we would go to the gym, this gymnastics gym, and practice all these tackles and stunts and stuff. And I mean, I was trying to be serious, and I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna do this. It's gonna look so good. And that time, I did it, and all these mats just toppled on top of me. And I mean, you just can't help but laugh. You're like, what are we doing here? This is weird. And I think we cut the session pretty shortly after that. We lost all seriousness. So
it's tough when gymnastic mats are falling on you.
I know. There was gymnastics, a team there practicing, watching us tackle each other and bats at each other, and they were just these little girls just looking at me what is she doing?
You be good at gymnastics, and you too can be tackled and tackle.
Right.
That's
You can be an actress one day. It was fun.
dream big, dream real big.
Dream big. Amen.
So it just as a reminder, we are going to release the second trailer. I'll probably say here in the next 5-ish minutes. So hang with us. If you want to bring other people to it, that would be awesome as well. And if you have questions, please write them in, send it so that I can ask the questions. And then I don't look so silly with all of my weird questions. So, because that's not as fun for people. So when you think about Fragment, and one of my biggest things was I wanted people to hear not just from me, but from you guys as cast and crew, how the story hit you, how the experience. Because we did an interview yesterday, and it was like we would talk about how something would happen, and we would either be filming something on set that was kind of similar, or something just happened in the world, and we'd be like, man, this is just feels too surreal sometimes. It felt too real what we were doing, and how we could foresee what would end up happening when we were dealing with props or dealing with lockdowns or whatever. And so how did it hit you, the story of Fragment?
Yeah. I mean, there were days definitely when like some heavier days where I was like, this is at least like, I mean, I'll be honest, like it's not something I think about every day, you know. I should. I think I think about it more so. I think the world thinks about it more so during these times, you know.
Right.
Christians I think are thinking about it more. Um but yeah, there were certain days on set when I was really thinking about it and how it, how it would feel. You know, I was
Mm-hmm.
putting myself in her shoes, like, um, she's here and the people she loves are not. You know, and that was because of her. That wasn't because of her mom or her dad or her brother or anything they did. That was her choice in how she lived her life. And so days like that, it was really, I mean, it would hit me like, am I living a life that, you know, is acceptable to the Lord, is pleasing to him? Or am I sometimes living my days like Araya, like just
Mm-hmm.
saying I'm a Christian and not really acting like it, you know? So it definitely got me thinking more into, I guess, just how I live my day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it got us all thinking more. And you know, like I said, I think Christians today are thinking about it maybe more than they ever have, just because of kind of the signs of the times that we're seeing these days, you know, all around the world. And I think that's a good thing. But I think it's also our job to just live our personal lives on the daily for Jesus so that other people can see that and not be confused. Just
Mm-hmm.
like how they would look at Araya and how she lives her life and be confused about her Christianity. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think what's interesting is the timeliness of the story here, which was not something I could have possibly intended.
yeah.
But the timeliness of thinking about those end times, what would that look like? What's our impact as believers on the world, and what are we allowing the world to impact us as believers, and what's the consequences of that?
Yeah.
So. I had a comment from Madeline, and she wanted to talk about the time the crew was arrested. But I think I'm going to save that for somebody who was actually arrested with me, as opposed to Isabel, who fortunately wasn't on set that particular day.
Yeah, we missed that.
She didn't have the joy of that wonderful experience.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have Benji on and Adam, and they can talk through it, because I think Benji recorded the whole thing
Yeah.
from the sound, which he was playing one day, and I was like, I cannot hear it. It was still too fresh for me. I was like, wow, oh, that's them yelling at me. They're gonna shoot me.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
let's not Yeah, so
Everyone
we'll
right now is like, what? They got arrested.
yeah, and then we shot like the party scenes and the some of the other stuff the very next day
Yeah.
with you and like your group of friends. And it was so weird to show back up to set after that and be like, okay, hey, let's try not to
Let this, yeah.
let's not have the police called today. That became our like mantra of the of filming. Is like, hey, it was a good day. We shot some stuff. Nobody shot us, and the police didn't show up. So we did really good today, guys.
Yes.
And there were some times we were doing some stuff that I was like, this. I could see why people would look at us and go, "Is this okay?"
Legal, yeah.
There was some stuff happening.
Yeah. But that just shows that it's that should let people know that it's a cool show. Like we did some stuff that the cops like showed up. You know what I mean? Like
it was legit enough that the police showed up.
Yeah, totally.
So it was legit. So Adam Beck, our DP, he said his comment is doing a hard time for Jesus.
Honestly.
Benji's hands probably still numb from sitting in the back of a police car with handcuffs.
Yeah.
So for future reference, for any cast crew that may want to work with me in the future, it's not an every film set kind of thing that I get you arrested. It happens on occasion, but not every day. Yeah. I mean, Isabel never got forcibly detained once. So
no,
see,
I was good.
Yeah.
Like a month and a half, like never talked to a cop once while I was there. So
yeah, I learned real quick to start calling ahead of time and be like, we're going to be filming here. Please don't come.
Yeah. Well, you did on the one time too, and they still came. So
yeah,
it's
but we
not
were good.
fault. It's just they were just doing their job.
Yeah.
Extremely well.
Please watch the show. It'll be great.
It'll be great.
Yeah, so very realistic.
Oh yeah.
That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we should play the trailer. What do you think?
Do it. I'm so excited.
All right. So I'm gonna try and not totally ruin this moment and have everybody go away. So hopefully I make this work right. Okay. I think we'll do it like this. All right, here we go. For the first time, literally ever, because we're awesome like that, we're going to watch the second official trailer for Fragment, the series, coming to PureFlix mid-March. PureFlix, March. I feel like I've said enough, but I don't know if I've said it enough.
March, this month, March.
That's right. That's it. All right, here we go.
Is he back there? Is he back there?
Are you all right?
Yeah. Is he back there?
Who?
My baby?
Second Sunday. Everyone left remembers where they were and what they were doing.
My fellow Americans, today we have experienced the greatest global crisis in the history of mankind. But what we do know is that a mass of the population has gone missing.
You know, the hardest part isn't them not being here. It's knowing why I am.
You and your GPC buddies act as if the billions that we've already lost wasn't enough.
Level 4 curfew is now in effect.
I figure you guys are making plans.
Making plans?
To escape.
They will send an investigator after us.
Because I will report that religious nonsense.
The harder we push, the more risk of exposure. Don't lecture me on exposure.
Could I lay my life down for someone else? That's what true heroism is. Someone laying their life down for somebody else, even when I didn't deserve it.
Love is really the only thing that can save us. It's what already saved us.
The worst fear I ever felt. When I finally put my faith in something I couldn't see.
We need your help. We need some hope.
Whoa. Too good. It's so good. Oh my
Right?
gosh. I almost like that one better than the second one. I mean than the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It had more like insight into our characters a little bit.
Yeah, a touch of it. Yeah. Yeah. It was fun to put a second one together. And then as we continue to do these things, I will start releasing some fun clips. I almost did that, but I was like, I feel like the trailer was going to be enough.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was so good. That was so good. I love that line that I got to say at the end of the trailer. You know, we need some help. We need some hope. I feel like we can all relate to that, you know.
Yeah.
And, like once in our lives, you know, for me it's like every day, but you know, it's a very relatable line.
Well, and what was so interesting about that scene, right, is you have this giant recap of all of the events that have happened. And I was afraid that you were going to have a struggle with it, but that was when I was like, she's a machine. You were like, bam, every time with that thing. And it's so long. I was like, I felt so bad. I was like, oh man, this is such a long monologue, but we needed it. And you did great with it. So
thank you. I forgot that actually. That line, we need some hope, came at the end of 15 lines in a row. Yeah.
It's like 7 pages of dialogue where it's just you talking. It's pretty much all it is.
I forgot that. But yeah, you're right. We needed it. By that point in the series, they'll be happy that I'm saying all these things.
Yes, I agree. Agreed.
Yeah.
So I think we had a comment or two in here. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, Emily says you made it into the movie, Nathan. And did I? Or is it not me?
Did he?
I guess you're gonna have to watch. That's right.
Yep.
I don't know if you know this, but it's coming out in March on PureFlix. So
yeah, PureFlix is what we're saying.
Boom. And I think the way that they're planning on releasing, which is so exciting, is one episode at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So you get that, wait, what happened next? And we all kind of get to experience this tension of the story all together, which I'm really excited about. Even though the show, I think, is completely and totally bingeable, I want that drawn out first release of it being like, okay, is it time yet? Did they release it yet? Which is going to be really fun.
It's going to be so fun. Yeah, it is totally a bingeable show, but I think that's why it's going to be better that it's one episode a week, because it is so the cliffhangers, you know, and these people's lives. You're like, what is happening to these people? You know, where are they going? What are they doing? You know, so I think that aspect will keep people on the edge of their seats for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Samuel Joshua, our awesome AD and gap filler, he has a question I can't answer. Only Jonathan Russell can, so I'll probably have to have him on, but I'll ask it now. His question: what was the name of the move used by Jonathan Russell when he falls in the alley near the trash dumpsters? This was the day you weren't on set. It was just Mark and Tim, and like Tim punches him, and he like does this triple quadruple axle flippy thing, and he was like, and he had this name, and we have no idea what it was, but it just sounded so cool. And he was like, no, you don't understand how impressive that is. We're like, we're impressed, we just don't know what it was called. Like a Tatsuki or something weird, and we didn't know, and we felt bad. Like everybody's like, we should be clapping, but we don't know what we're clapping for yet.
We don't know what. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jonathan did such a great job choreographing all of our stunts, and one of the things I'll kind of end with this one, but one of the memories that comes up to me was that we were doing the scene where you're running from the GPC, which are the bad guys, right? And you're running through this container yard essentially. And Jonathan is driving this car, and he's like, no, I'm going for it. And he's gunning it. And we have this moment where you come around the corner and you run past the camera, and Adam's got the camera set up, and Jonathan's like, I'll stop right here. And we were all a little nervous that he was going to hit you at some point. You ran so fast because you were running from him in the car all the time.
Yeah, that was real. That was really real terror. Like, I was scared. We were running for our lives, literally.
I remember you said at one point you watched playback and you're like, man, I felt like I was running faster than that. Why doesn't it look like I was running faster?
Yeah.
You were running really fast.
I was trying. I think it just looked slower on camera. But like when I was doing it, I was like, oh, I am sprinting right now. Like there's no way he's catching me. And then we would watch playback and I'd be like, is that how fast I'm going? Like I feel like I'm going so fast. And it's just not looking like it. But yeah, with Jonathan driving a, Ford Explorer SUV very close to me, it didn't take much for me to just
you were motivated go. Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. He stops the car in this chase scene at the end of this, and he's supposed to kind of stop in shot, and he just kept coming, and he slams on the brakes, and the car comes to the sliding stop. Adam's got the camera. Samuel's like protecting Adam. Benji's standing there with the boom, and like he stops, and it looks amazing, right? And he did exactly what he was supposed to do. But as the director, I'm like, he's going to kill all three of them.
Yeah.
And the camera. You remember that one time we were going to make something, and then everyone died? I was trying to explain that. Like, how do I explain that to people?
Yeah. I think I actually have that on video. Like, I think I asked Benji or somebody to film it, like me running around the corner with the car, like on my tail. And then the camera's like right here. And I have that video where it's like, he skids on the gravel, to a stop right in front of me and the camera. And then you yell cut, and you just hear like exhales from everybody, all holding your breath. And it was all just like cut. And then like, we lived, we did that. I'm pretty sure I have that video.
Hey, no one died.
Yeah. And we got great shots. So,
Please tell me it was in focus. That's all that really matters. It's just being focused.
Yeah.
Benji said, I have a video of it that starts good, but then I flinched at the end. Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Because he was probably scared. He was terrified that,
Jonathan was driving a car, had him.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, thank you for hopping on and doing this. And as fun as it would be to literally do this for like hours and reminisce, at some point we probably should stop.
Yeah.
But thank you again for hopping on. And how can people follow you, connect with you? What would be the best way for social for them?
Probably just Instagram. I would say Instagram. There it is, Isabel.Almoy. Perfect. I'm on Facebook too. So if that's more your thing, we could be friends on Facebook, but Instagram is kind of where I am most of the time. So yeah. And Fragment, follow Fragment.Oblivion. Oh, look at that. On Instagram and Facebook for more updates and, stuff like this.
Yeah. And we want to always just tell people. One of the things that's really cool is I think PureFlix is trying to help expand what we're doing, what they're offering on the platform. But one of the things that's going to be the most beneficial to us and to our series is if you tag PureFlix in your responses, you go watch it on PureFlix, rate it, tell them how fantastic it is, how much you like it. I've been told multiple times that people are like, I'm going to make sure that I have a subscription just so I can watch Fragment. And if you're one of those people, let them know. Because that's the information they need to have so that they come back and say, so what happens next? Are you gonna do season 2? And I can be like, yes, I'm ready to do worse things to all of my castmates. And
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So watch it, please. Tell us what you think. Share the page, share the trailer. The more we get support from people sharing what we're doing, the more likely it is that we can continue to do it. And that goes for, any of the shows and projects that are happening. There are so many out there. Guardians that's on there, Vindication. They definitely need all the support because people are creating some really cool things. So make sure you get out there and support them. If you are a casting director, a writer, a producer, make sure you hit Isabel up here and hire her for your project. But make sure that it doesn't interfere with what I'm doing because she has like a 10-year contract with me. She doesn't. But
that'd be cool. 10 seasons Fragment.
That'd be a lot of cars chasing you. I'm just saying.
I gotta start running more, working out
I just
more.
got this really great idea. We need to get a moment in the series where you get behind the car and you chase somebody and be like, "Oh, it's my turn," and you start running somebody down. That would be.
I'll chase Jonathan this time.
Yeah. There you go, Jonathan. Well, welcome.
The roles will have. But no, thank you. I really appreciate it and all the kind words and having me on. And I hope you guys watch the show. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got action. It's got some sensitivity. It's got romance. It's got humor at points. And it's all for the glory of God and to point people back to Him and make them think a little deeper about their relationship with Him. So hope you give it a watch for sure.
That was perfect. I'm not going to say anything else. That was it.
All right.
Thank you for coming. Thank you guys for tuning in. And please share and come back next time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye-bye.